Hello everyone, welcome back to the Python exercise series. This is the 11th exercise. In here we have to check whether the given triangle is a valid triangle or not basis on the dimension of its sides. Let us first understand its logic and then we will proceed how to solve this problem. Here we have been given a triangle. Suppose this is the triangle and assume these are the sides of the triangle. Any triangle is a valid triangle if the two sides of the triangle when summed up should be greater than the third side. What that means is a plus b should be greater than c, b plus c should be greater than a, and c plus a should be greater than b. So this is the requirement, that is these two sides when summed up should be greater than c if these two sides summed up should be greater than a, and if c and a sides is summed up should be greater than b. So this is the logic behind solving this problem. Let us write down the Python code to solve this exercise. So very first thing is we have to take the input of three sides of the triangle from the user, and then we will evaluate whether that triangle is a valid or not. So next thing is we have to check whether a plus b is greater than c. If it is, then we will move to the next check. What is the next check then? We have to evaluate whether b and c when summed up is greater than a. If it is, then we have to also check whether c plus a when summed up is greater than b. If this is correct, if all these criteria are correct, then we will say that it is a valid triangle. If these criteria are not met, then we can say that this is invalid triangle. Alright, now if this criteria is not met, then we will say that it is a invalid triangle. And also for this particular requirement, if this is not met, obviously it's a not valid triangle. So we have solved the problem and now we have to execute this program. Now I will be passing the dimensions of the sides of the triangle. So suppose it is 5, second 6, and third dimension is suppose 8. So it says that it is a valid triangle. Now I'm going to re-execute. Let us suppose that we have got the dimension 12, another is 1, and then 2. It says that it is an invalid triangle. Now the question arises whether we can simplify this program or not. Yes, of course we can simplify this program. Let us understand how we can do that. So I'm going to copy this code and will be writing the second solution to this exercise, which will be little simplified version of this program. Before applying any kind of validation check, I will set valid is equals to 0, stating that it is an invalid triangle. So what we will do is if a and b when summed up is greater than c, and b plus c is greater than a, and c plus a is greater than b, we will say if all these criteria are met, we will say that it's a valid triangle. If it is not, we need not to apply this else statement, and then we will move to another conditional statement wherein we will check if it is a valid triangle. And how we will check it? If the value of valid is equals to 1, it is a valid triangle. So we need to apply the conditional operator over here, and now we can say valid triangle. If the value of valid is 0, then we will say that it is a invalid triangle. Let us execute it. I'm going to pass the dimensions of the triangle. Let us suppose that first dimension is 8, second is 9, and then third one is 10. It says that it is a valid triangle. Let us re-execute it. I'm going to pass 3 dimensions once again. The first dimension is 2, third is 3, and the last one is suppose 12. It says that it is a invalid triangle. Now you may be thinking, Is there any other method to make it more simplified rather than making it so lengthy? Yes, of course we can do that. In order to make it more simplified, I will be using the logical operator. So I'm going to copy this whole code and paste it in the new cell, and over here we will take the dimensions of the triangle. We will take the input first, and then we do not require this line of code. And now we will check whether the first dimension, that is if a and b added up is greater than c, and the second criteria is when b and c summed up is greater than a, right? And the third condition is if the value of c when added to the dimension a is greater than b. If all these criterias are met, then it is a valid triangle. Otherwise it is not a valid triangle. Let us execute this program now, and I'm going to pass the dimensions. Let us say that the first dimension is 10, then it is 8, then it is 9. It says that it is a valid triangle. Let us re-execute it, and I'm going to pass the dimensions. 1, second dimension let's suppose is 3, and the third one is say 15. It says that invalid triangle.